went public with her decision in a Washington Post column, one that sparked a swift backlash on social media, including allegations that she's a sellout. She joins me now live from Milwaukee. Welcome, Asra.
Hey, thank you so much, Carol.
A lot of people say that you were courageous for going public in the Washington Post with your thoughts. Why did you think it was so important?
Well, you know, Carol, I felt like this entire election year we have just silenced so many people. And like as you said, I'm a happy liberal. I believe in progressive values, but I do believe that we have a liberal honor brigade nowadays that is basically shutting up and silencing people who disagree with them. We see them marching on the streets right now because they don't like the election results. And unfortunately, whenever anybody would speak up, we were ridiculed or chastised. You know, even now, the idea of speaking out as somebody who's voted for Trump is earning me all sorts of lovely labels as like idiot and, you know, effer and all of these other ideas that I think violate liberal values of free speech and self-determination. And so I spoke out because I also believe we have to stand up for the dignity of all people, and Trump voters are human beings too.
I've spoken to so many Muslim Americans across the country, though, who fear Mr. Trump. What would you say to them?
Well, I don't fear Donald Trump, and I don't fear the policies that he's talking about. What I fear is the extremist interpretation of Islam that is spilling blood on the streets of our world, from Orlando to Dhaka to Brussels. And what I appreciate about his policies is that he is confronting the issue of ideology. He is not choosing a path that we've had for the last 8 years of political correctness that won't talk about the Islam and Islamic State. And to me, that's the crisis of our generation right now, and we have to confront it with honesty and truth-telling. The solutions are not easy, they're not comfortable, but they're ones that we have to confront. And unfortunately, I believe that the liberals and the left have really betrayed America on that front for the sake of, you know, these ideas of pluralism and Islamophobia that are not really on the table. What really is on the table is the issue of just confronting an ideology.
Let me ask you this, because I want to get to right down to the nitty-gritty, because a lot of Muslim Americans are afraid when Mr. Trump talks about a Muslim ban. You know, he took it off his website for a time, but now it's back on. So they say that is extreme. That's singling a group of people out because of their religion and not allowing them in the United States because of that, and that's quintessentially un-American. What do you think about that?
So what I know that we have today is a very real and serious threat by extremist Muslims, and this is a reality that we haven't confronted directly for the sake of political correctness. And if people would hear out the concerns and fears that others have about the issues of refugees and extremists, then I think we could find a path that's in the middle. But unfortunately, what happens is that this liberal honor brigade shuts down all conversation, calls you you know, bigot or racist or Islamophobe if you dare to speak your own concerns. And I know that the solution for our world is, in our country, is in the middle path. And I believe that the left must move to the middle, the right must move to the middle, and then we're going to come up with actually healthy solutions that protect national security as well as human rights.
Mm-hmm. I think that one of the things that bothered many Muslim Americans was how Donald Trump reacted to Mr. Khan and his son, who died in the Iraq War, and what he said about Mr. Khan's wife. Can you put that into perspective? I mean, were you insulted by that, or did you think that was just political show?
Well, Carol, I sure can, and thank you for asking this question, because I think on so many instances, you know, and I'm speaking to you as a journalist, as a media expert also, there was just this knee-jerk condemnation of Donald Trump and his views. He is not a man with foreplay. He is not a man with any kind of delicacy when it comes to his comments. Granted, he's indelicate. Okay, we got that. but he expresses a truth that people speak. And I will tell you that I sat, watched the Democratic Convention, and as I watched this Gold Star family speak and saw the husband speak, I wondered to myself, who is that woman? She wasn't even introduced by the DNC, if you look back at the tapes. We didn't even know her name. We didn't know her identity. And so I'm a woman who fights for rights within our Muslim community, and I wondered the same thing. Why silent?
But
now,
Mr.
of course,
Khan said she was silent because she would have been overcome by grief to talk about her dead son.
absolutely. Oh my gosh.